Welcome to Sunday Night and my Saturday Night Live. Sunday Night Live, actually, that's the name of a TV show. I'm Lindy Milan, and every Sunday night I love to do a really simple recipe in half an hour to show you some tips and tricks and how you too can cook something really lovely any day of the week. So tonight I'm doing risotto bianco. I adore risotto. And much as I do cheat sometimes and do one in the microwave, I thought if you learn to make a basic risotto bianco, then you can cook any risotto. There's just a few tips and tricks along the way, and that's what we're going to be concentrating on tonight. So I'll just heat my pan, and because we need to get going if I'm going to get it all done in time. And I just pressed something that I shouldn't have. There we go. Hopefully you can see. I'll just get my pan heated up. So I want my pan nice and hot. And I just need to, so I'm going to put half the butter. I'm only cooking enough for two tonight. So a little bit of butter and some good extra virgin olive oil. And there we go. So let me just see. Of course, please feel free to ask any questions as we go. That would be fantastic. And oh, hello, here they all are. I'll just see who's here. Donna Marie, lovely to see you. Angela, good. These are my faithfuls. It's so lovely to see you every week. It's very, very special. Thank you very much. So I'm making risotto bianco, or white risotto, and it's called white because that's what it looks like, and it can be vegan, of course, but then I'm going to show you how to transform it into many, many other flavours. So there we are. Oh, Helen, good morning. She's in the UK. Okay, so let's come down here. I'm having to get a move on because I want to do it all in the time. So butter and extra virgin olive oil and onion, finely chopped onion. And the reason I had that already chopped was because, as I said, I need to get this underway. I've got my stock hot in the microwave. You can heat it up any way you like. And I've got some herbs here. And I will just chop my garlic. So it's really wet here today. So you think about anything that's made you mad today, then you can get rid of your frustrations like that, and your garlic's peeled and half chopped. So what my frustration is that I had to go out on the balcony to pick my herbs, and it was raining, so there you go. All right, so here's some garlic. Now this is the basis of a risotto, and this goes in at the beginning and it stays in with the rice. If you're going to add mushrooms or anything, you need to cook them separately, because otherwise they're more like a kind of boil. Okay, so we're just letting that soften. I've got the heat a bit higher than I usually would because I want to get it cooked in time. So you want your onion to be translucent like that. So then the next stage is to add your rice. Now I'm adding arborio rice, sometimes known as risotto rice. And this will absorb 3 times its volume in liquid. Okay, and the thing with a risotto is you want it to be gluggy. It's not meant to be light and fluffy. So this releases its starch into the liquid over the slow cooking. I'll turn that down just a bit. So the idea here is that I'm coating my rice in the butter and oil and toasting it just a little. Now, in Italy, they say that if rice is born in water, it drowns in wine. So the same wine I'm going to drink with it, I'm using a Robert Oakley Margaret River Chardonnay. So nothing like putting a little bit of it. I'll bring this down again so that you can see. So nothing like putting a bit of the wine you're going to drink in with your cooking. Okay, so you want that to evaporate off, and that's also going to evaporate the alcohol off. Now, as I said to you, my stock is here. Now, I'm using chicken stock because I love the flavour. But if you want to keep this vegan or vegetarian, just use vegetable stock. And then just about half a cup at a time, and stir until it's absorbed. Now what happens is that it gets absorbed much quicker at the beginning of the cooking time than it does towards the end. So I'll just get a bit in here and then I'll come back and talk to you a little bit. So let's just, you can see this is absorbing quite quickly, but as time goes on, it won't. So I'll just do a little bit more. I'll pop it back in my microwave so that it's going to stay hot. So I'll just put it on for another minute. Of course you can do it in a saucepan on the stove, but I find the microwave absolutely fantastic. Okay, so here we are. Let's just see who's here. Helen, Amanda, Lucy, Cherie and McCall. Oh, Anne says that she's never made a good risotto, so she's looking forward to tonight. Okay, well, I hope you'll be very happy. Oh, and we've got someone from Cara, and tips for making a good risotto are always welcome, says Cecilia. Okay, so we're doing a risotto bianco, which is just a plain white risotto. And then we're going to transform it into other things. Now, I did say that I was going to have this Robert Oatley Margaret River Chardonnay. It's only lightly oaked, but I think Chardonnay is a great match for this particular risotto and even for what I'm going to do with it. So, of course, it's my job to taste. Yeah, it's got beautiful weight. You know, when I taste wine, I talk about it. A Riesling will sort of race down the back of your throat, but this sits across it. Okay, so it is a nice Chardonnay. And Cecilia, she used to stir the stock in, but it's okay to pour all the stock in and let it absorb. No, that's not what I'm doing. So let's come back to that, Cecilia. Thank you for asking. As you can see, that the amount of stock that I put in has already been absorbed. And so here we go. I'll stir some more in. Doesn't look to me like I've actually got quite enough, but we shall see. I have got an extra little bit here and I have got some more, so let's just get this stirring. There we go. And I don't salt it at this stage because it depends how salty your stock is. So here you go. And the idea is that the rice releases the starch as you stir and cook. And the further on, oh that's hot, the further on we go, the slower it will be to absorb the stock. Okay, so that's just simmering now. So now let's talk about the sorts of things that we can put in our risotto. Now I actually find making a risotto very therapeutic because you come home, the first thing you have to do is open a bottle of wine to go in it, and I think standing and stirring is just lovely. So let's see if anyone's got any other questions yet. Oh, well, Angela loves risotto. Good, that's lovely. And Vanessa, hello, how are you? Okay, so risotto bianco. You might like a mushroom risotto, you might like chicken, you might like anything. You can even throw in leftovers. You might have leftover roast vegetables. Pumpkin is especially good. You might have leftover sausages, but I'm just going to cook a few things tonight to add in, because as I said, this is going to be my dinner. So here we go. I'm going to start off with, I'll just get another pan hot. I should have got another, oh, well, I get another pan hot to start off with. Okay, so a bit of extra virgin olive oil again. And heat your pan, then heat the oil, and I'll put that in a bit soon, and then your things won't stick. Okay, so I've got 2 free-range chicken thigh fillets. I like chicken thighs because I think they have a lot more flavour. So now that that's there, good. It's not quite hot enough, but it is now. Okay, so in they go. And I'm going to fry them and cook them as one idea. Another thing is I'm very fond of porcini mushrooms, dried porcini mushrooms. I actually use these in my microwave risotto that's also on my website. You can see that's a dried porcini mushroom. So I'm just going to pour some hot water over so that it can rehydrate. And now I mustn't forget, I'll just show you what this is looking like. You can see it's bubbling up. You can see how it's becoming a little bit creamy. So now I'll pop some more stock in. Okay. Now for my original risotto bianco, I have some herbs. Now you can use any herbs you like. I happen to have sage, because if you're not having anything in except you're having it totally vegan, of course you can have vegetables. I think it's nice to have some herbs. I've also got basil that I grow on my balcony. There's a bit more basil. Basil? Did you know that there are only ever 12 episodes of Fawlty Towers, and I think we know them all. And I've got some flat leaf parsley. Okay, so I'll just move my cheese. So I'm just going to chop these up ready to go. It's always best to chop your herbs fresh. If you're using a steel knife though, you might need to tear some of them or they'll discolour. And this can go in or it can go on top at the end. And you can tailor your herbs according to what's actually going in your risotto. So just keep your eye on your risotto, and that's chopped enough for me. There we go. Need some more stock. There we go. My chicken's starting to cook nicely. So what I'll do is I'll get another pan, and we'll put some. I know what. Here, I washed it up. Here we are. I'll get another pan, and so that I can do some mushrooms. Turn that down because that's a really hot pan. Okay, I think my chicken thighs are ready to turn. As I said, they've got more connective tissue and more fat, so I actually prefer them. There we go. I'm still coming back to stir my risotto. You can see it's not quite absorbing quite as fast as it was before. So now I just slice up some mushrooms. Now if you're making a mushroom risotto, you can actually cook your mushrooms in the pan and take them out before you put in the onion and the garlic or the rice. But I just wanted to show you the basic risotto and then have some things to add to it. Oh, extra virgin olive oil. Look with the best quality you can. I only use extra virgin because the other ones don't have all of the health benefits. Okay. Keep stirring that risotto. And you see, even though it takes a while to stir, you could be getting everything else ready at the same time. I'll just heat my stock up some more. Turn that one down. Okay, so let's see if anyone's got some questions or some comments. Angela said that she keeps porcini powder in the pantry to just add that depth of flavour. She doesn't have any dried ones. What do I think? Well, Angela, I have porcini powder and dried porcini because I love them. You do have to be careful sometimes with dried porcini. Dishonest people in some places dry eggplant to make it look like it. So whichever you like. And Adrian's saying hello from Melbourne. Well, I hope you're not going to be locked down for too much longer down there, my friend. All right, back to my risotto. So there we go. All right. I need to give my mushrooms a stir as well. Now, one other thing that I'm going to add, just to show you what to do, is asparagus. Now, asparagus is right in season in Australia. So for asparagus, what you want to do is just snap off the end, and then that automatically, the rest of the asparagus is all edible and won't be fibrous. So just snap it off like that. Now we'll make ourselves a little space. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to microwave that, ready to stir in at the end. So I like to cover mango. I just think it looks nicer. Now the chips don't need to be cooked as long. So I'm not going to cook this just yet, just with a little bit of water. Remove it in the microwave, but not just yet. I'll just have that ready. So my mushrooms. One's on the floor. Just see how my chicken's going. Lovely. Okay, back to the risotto. I'll just give it a bit more stock, which I'm keeping hot in the microwave. Now I think this is going to need a bit more stock, so I have got some extra here, so I'll just heat that all up. You can of course use a mixture of stock and water. That works as well. Okay. So next, cheese. Now, please use lovely cheese for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grate some, but I love to have slices to go, pieces to go on the top, because I just think it looks generous and beautiful, and especially if it is going to be a risotto that is completely vegetarian. So there's some to go on the top, and then I can grate the rest. As you know, I really like to be able to do everything in front of you. So the only thing I've done first tonight was to heat the stock already, and I had chopped the onion. So that's because I wanted to get our risotto cooked in time. I don't know about you, but I love a lot of Parmesan cheese. I really do. So grate that. I'll show you the risotto again in a minute, because that's really, yeah, we can do a couple more bits of that if you like. I'll just see how the mushrooms are going. I'll just leave them off in the pan. The chicken needs longer. Those big bits need longer. Okay. So don't ever start to taste your risotto until you've been going for at least 15 minutes. You only want it slightly al dente. Now, here it is. That's what it looks like now. I can see it's still not ready, but you'll notice that it is actually absorbing the liquid much slower. Other things that are lovely in risotto are bacon or ham, absolutely anything you like. And let's see who's here. Carol says hi from the freezing Blue Mountains. Helen wants to know if I've seen the porcini powder in the UK. I think if you Googled it, I wouldn't be at all surprised if Waitrose or someone doesn't have something like that. Bronwyn's late tuning in, but she's here. Lynn says hi from Narrabeen. That's very, very close to me. And Carol from the Blue Mountains says perfect weather for risotto. It certainly is. That's what I thought, Carol. So that's fantastic. Now let me just make sure I didn't miss any of these. Val says you have to have patience. You certainly do. But I love it. I have to say, you know, when my kids were teenagers, I used to really like that punctuation of the punctuation between work and home. I worked from home for a long time. Of just stopping to make the risotto, pour the glass of wine. And I should say we've got the Chardonnay, because this has got really broad flavours, but so's the risotto. And I've talked before about matching food and wine. If you talk about the flavour of the food and then just use those adjectives, often that makes it really easy to find a wine. Ron says, can you use any other cheeses as well? You could use pecorino, but if you use a melty cheese, it's going to all stick in it and be really gluggy. So you want a dry cheese that's, I need to get back to this. You want a cheese like a Parmesan or a pecorino. Okay, let's come back here. So, now you can see that there's not much liquid left. So I shall keep going now. There we go. A bit more. So now I'll start to get my asparagus ready. I usually do a bunch of asparagus for about 1.5 minutes in the microwave. So I thought if I do the stems for a minute and then add the tips for 30 seconds, that should work well. Okay, I've also got some baby spinach leaves, which I'm going to stir through at the end. And look, I will taste just now, just to see how we're going. I can see it's still too firm, but it's getting softer. And that stock's quite salty, so I'm not going to need to add any salt at all. So remember, if you use vegetable stock here, this is vegan. I'm using chicken stock just because I love the flavour. Okay, I think this chicken might just about ready to go. I think I'll leave that turned off on the plate. And we'll see what... Oh, hello, Darren. Hi, there's Darren. He's saying hello. Terrific. Darren, what can you tell us about the Chardonnay? Darren is a great friend of mine and he works for Robert Oatley Wines, but he's actually moving today. So I'm not sure that he can actually hop on, but we'll just show him his wine again. So you can find this online. Oh, $23, $24 a bottle, but it's a, it's a really lovely wine. They have wines at various prices. Okay, so now that my asparagus ends have been in the microwave for 1 minute, I'll just add the tips now. Well, some of those need a bit of cutting in half. Just because I don't want them to go all soft, I'll just add them now for 30 seconds. Oh, I missed one. Doesn't matter. Technically speaking, you can cook something like asparagus in the risotto, but the way I'm doing it, it's much more controllable and I'll have a much better ending. Oh, thanks, Darren. Darren's just put up the link for the wine that we're drinking, or that I'm drinking, but you can all drink it too, maybe another night. But yeah, so lovely mouthfeel, not too much oak. I used to think I didn't like Chardonnay, but I just didn't like the Chardonnay from the 80s. Beautiful. As I said, that beautiful mouthfeel. It's just got a faint butteriness, and I'm going to finish my risotto with butter, so that's going to be pretty good. Sorry, it wasn't vegan if I used butter in the beginning. If you want it to be vegan, just use extra virgin olive oil. Okay, now let's come back again and see how we're going. And this is starting to look like a risotto to me. So I know it needs more. And then what I'm going to do is just heat up some more water, because I can see that for me it's going to need a bit more, because I like my risottos quite wet. Okay, so I'll show you the asparagus. We'll just heat that up a bit more. Okay, so you can see that asparagus is only just cooked. It's perfect. So it'll be great to go in. I'll just go and drain off the water, because I don't want to add extra. Although I could actually, because it would be quite nice, because it would be flavoured with asparagus. But there you go. Okay, so we're nearly getting ready to put it all together. So I better slice my... Okay, there's my cheese, there's my herbs, there's a bit more butter. Right, I shall slice up my chicken into pieces. Look, you could use leftover chicken, you know, leftover roast chicken, barbecued chicken, but I thought I'd cook it freshly just to show you how you can do it. So this is going to be a complete meal. You could serve it with a salad, but I'm actually going to stir some spinach leaves through as well. So it's actually going to be a complete meal all on its own. Now, if you're doing a seafood risotto, you might want to use fish stock, prawn, and then use prawns. Don't just stir the prawns into the risotto to cook, because then they just taste boiled instead of, they develop much more flavour if you fry them. I think that's the case with anything you want to add, is to do that. So let's just have a little taste. Okay. One more lot of liquid. And we're ready to go. So, if I were to keep this as risotto bianco, all I would do now is stir in the cheese, that bit of butter that I had left, because I did half the butter before, it just makes it really nice and creamy, and the herbs. I'm going to save a few for the top. And then that is your simple risotto bianco. So I'll just taste that. You can add some black pepper, but I'll just taste that. I'll just taste that with a sip of the wine. Oh my goodness, that's a perfect match. So that's your risotto bianco, which is now vegetarian because I put cheese in. So now I'm going to put everything else in, and then that's going to be a complete meal. So here we go. We've got the risotto bianco just with the cheese and herbs. So we can put our mushrooms in. We're going to put the chicken in, asparagus. I'll just get this through, and then now I think that can use a tad more liquid. As I said, I like my risottos a little bit wet, and that's enough stock because I don't want it too salty. That stock ended up being quite salty, so we'll just make sure the stock or the water you add is boiling. There we go. Okay, now let's just stir through these baby spinach leaves. We'll just stir them through. And as I said, anything can go in here. Bacon, pancetta, ham, leftover sausage, leftover veggies, leftover roast. If you've got the basics, there's nothing you can't do. So I'm just going to let that wilt for a second. So let's come back. And I have to say, that slight saltiness in the risotto was lovely, but then it was really creamy with the butter and the cheese, and that went absolutely beautifully with the Chardonnay. I'm very, very happy with that. So let's see if anyone's asked anything. No, they haven't. Well, then I think we need to plate up. And next week, I haven't decided what I'm going to cook because I don't know what I'm getting it. I'm going to match a dish to some wine, and I'm going to get a trophy-winning wine from the McLaren Vale Wine Show. Now, it's not being announced till next Friday, so then on Sunday I will have one of the trophy-winning wines, and I'll be cooking something to go with that. Now, let's plate up. Okay, there we go. Just give it one more stir. Right, so I think that looks really beautiful. So when you think about it, you've got your veggies in there, you've got your protein. It's a lovely one meal, one dish dinner. As I said, I was only cooking enough for two. But there's no way of speeding it up. It takes the same time whether you're cooking for 2 or 4 or 6. It takes the time it takes. Okay, so clean off the edge. Let's just finish it with a little bit more of the herbs, and I love the slices of cheese on the top, and they will actually ultimately melt, and a bit of a grinding of black pepper. And there you've got my, what I'm calling my risotto bianco with anything you like. So it can be anything you like as well, and I'm going to post that recipe on my website as soon as we finish. But this is a recipe that you can make your own, so that's the idea. Risotto bianco with anything you like, and it's whatever you like to add, or just open your fridge and find out what's in there. We're very conscious of waste these days, so it's a great way to use things up. Better have a taste of the final dish for you. And here we are. Oh, go on a big bit. The rice is only slightly firm. It's beautiful, but it's very creamy. The sauce is quite luscious, and but it's beautifully balanced. And you know what? Creamy, luscious, and balanced. That's what the wine is too. So thank you very much, all of you, and it was great. I'll post that recipe very soon. Thank you for joining me. Do send me comments. Oh, remember that I do a newsletter every week. I'll just put up my website, and I'll be posting that recipe in about the next 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, so thanks very much. Lovely to see you. I hope you have a lovely week ahead, and I'll see you back here next Sunday night. So thank you for joining me. As always, very